Yo, did you see that squat? And I got told by an adult that I don't know when to shut my mouth. So it's like at the gym, whenever someone's doing a squat but it's in excess, I always tell them to squat it out, and that's X-rated. So I probably shouldn't be saying that. And I don't know why I'm vlogging with a wire in my ear. I saw a YouTuber, he's famous. His name's Penguin. Penguin something. And if you didn't know, I didn't know. And then I look him up because Le Mans at Large, this guy who goes around documenting graves. That's when black holes start orbiting each other, when social media superstars go on television superstars programs for doing the same thing. If you get over 200,000 people watching you every day and you have like a set that is flawless every day, you're doing better than what TV superstars do. So that's like a stronghold. Other strongholds could be something that's promiscuous. I went in, not a tangent, but at length into what is depravity, and I handled this by explaining what I thought was nitpicky, despite positions of power. And you can see what I'm talking about in this downtown footage. But before that happens, I want to leave you with something special. I don't just rap, I say what I'm doing. I got flows out my mind because I'm into pursuing. I got X, Y, Z all in my mind frame. And I'm just not a wet brain because I ain't have none. Say what's wet, but guess what? Your internals is. And that's something that's not joked at. If you make fun of something as disabled, I've been told to be put on the disabled list, and I said no. Sometimes I think that I should have been, because what's wrong with my body after taking a whiplash, getting washed on a divider? I probably should have had more. So I started the vlog by showing that I got kicked out of the Arts Mill, and that this guy was smug for doing that. I'm just cruising by, and I'm not gonna capture this on film because I had speed on my bike. I don't have a bike chain, so whenever you have speed on your bike and you don't have a bike chain, you never let it go. It's just like the government. Once they have allegiance through the legislator over God-given freedoms, they never give that back, because that's a hell of a lot of power to circulate black money, dark money in a black hole funneling through. There's a whole bunch of blackmail, aka dark money, funneling through all the state capitals, especially in DC. And you can even call someone that having to do with taxes during tax season, and they'll tell you that they're near the capital and they're surrounded by entities. But for all intensive purposes, I don't want to be saying that a lot, because in court it's called without reasonable doubt. I mean within one. Is that this guy calling all the shots for this Arts Mill, this mom and pop's mini castle on steroids? It has this open sign blinking, so I can stumble in there and wonder, do you want me to sign up for yoga? And in that amount of time, take up Wi-Fi is all what I'm there for, and what I got kicked out for. So for all intentional purposes, them blinking the open sign would have left me able to do that. But unfortunately, I don't care to, because I've already been kicked out of there once. Teslas are so smug. If I can make something better than one, and then show why it's bad. There's a guy who was describing engines. He's like, a turbo is better than almost 100% of the cars, because in overdrive it can do more. So a bad Volvo, like an old station wagon one, is better than a BMW in his eyes. like a BMW that isn't retro. All right, to vlog indecency, that place right behind me, the owner, it's just one of the shops of 4 of them in it, but it's just a style that it is, where when all the shops are closed except for his, he has say on what flies and what doesn't. It's equivalent to cops becoming teachers and giving someone a final warning. Chat prone 2.0s. And if it isn't that, then I'm a monkey's uncle, and that's not decent. So the indecency, of course, would be when there's a loss at hand. I see this same guy inside of a grocery store, and of course that is going to be the same guy who I told him, if you're not going to buy anything in here, there's no reason for you to be here. And this way he told me, because when he told me that there's nothing to see here and if you're not buying anything you can leave, is thank you, is the reason that I told him that. And so the same exact dialogue he didn't like, which is no surprise. It's just that the place I was at is designed as an enterprise. It's corporatized retail. So he thought it was what's the title for the thing? This something. Undecent. So he thought it was undecent that I was giving him the same regulation, and he says, you know, you don't know when to stop running your mouth. And I said, is what it is, guy. I should have said, how do you like how that sounds? But I left the how do you like that sounds part out. We're getting there. But no, it's you know, undecent. I think what he did is because I don't have any Wi-Fi, and so the reason I'm over there is because they do. And so if I was to say something undecent, it would be like, oh, I think that these shelves hurt. Everyone's cracking up. I missed the joke. It's a hard road. It's a hard road. But the undecent thing would be to say that I think that everyone on the shelf behind me has the shelf filled, because for the last day or two I was just weeding out the only product that I do like, and I'm not gonna say what it is on camera, but it rhymes with malt, and so if it isn't one there, it's the best bang for your buck. And so in being able to not see it there's only one other place would be at it, like a Sitco, and they've been 0 for 5. So I'm not going to bank on their miss if there isn't any in the shelf behind me, because those are worst odds, equivalent to having that niche little mill that looks like a castle compared to a corporate enterprise retail store. If you're running the same dialogue, despite the position of power, it's one seems incredibly out of hand because it's like a mom and pop shop on steroids, and the other is like equivalent to, you gotta be kidding me, I can't shop at a retail store if I don't have any money. How can you decipher that? And if you can bunny hop an embankment, I mean skip off one, you're gonna be doing numbers, especially if your life depends on it. For all intents and purposes, let me demonstrate. And I promised myself I wouldn't. It's just I broke my collarbone on a skateboard, and so this is all I have left, is pretending I'm on a skateboard.